Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Christelle Rinn, and I'm the COO here at HRLocker. What we will be going through today is the preliminary payroll reports in HRLocker. So it's a feature we've been working on for quite a while now. And really, I suppose the goal of the reporting and the setup of this module is to provide the tools necessary to allow both payroll managers and HR managers to really pull the data in regards to their employees' working hours or benefits or bonuses or leave types, and put them into such a report that they're ready to be uploaded directly from HRLocker and then into your payroll. So what we've really tried to do with this module is to focus on the flexibility of when you're creating the different types of reports. So obviously every single company that we work with have a number of different pay elements or different overtime rules or different regular pay rules, things like that. So we've done a lot of work into making sure that the module is as flexible as possible and that we can really work with you guys to make sure that the output that you're looking for is what we can create out of the system. So obviously, as usual, we'll be having a questions and answers session throughout the webinar. So anytime you have a question, just put it into the Q&A section. I have Jenny with me today, and she'll be moderating all the questions and sending them over to me. And while I'm going through the webinar, just pop them in there, and I'll be happy to go through them with you. And then, I'll be giving you a brief overview because there is, as flexible as the system is, there's a lot of setup to it. You only ever have to do it once to make sure you have your company parameters put into the system. So afterwards, what I would encourage everybody to do is to contact one of us here in HRLocker, and we'd be happy to go through your own setup for your own company and to set that up for you, and also to look exactly what you're looking for to make sure that you're getting out of it what you need. So as you see right here, I'm at the moment logged into HRLocker, and this is the dashboard. So for those of you who are HRLocker clients, you'll be familiar with this dashboard overview. So for the purpose of this webinar, I'll be logged in as the administrator. So I'm just going to show you here, as part of this new payroll function, we've created a new user type. Just go in here and show you. So I'm in here as Liz McMahon, and as you can see, I'm the payroll manager here as well. So the payroll manager gives me a number of benefits that I can do. I can download all the reports in regards to payroll. I can also set up different parameters as well in regards to the payroll integration. So that's important to set that up. You're going to go into the directory, select any individual, can have many payroll managers as you want, and give them that payroll manager identification there as well. And then when you're giving people payroll authority, you can also do it per permissions as well, so per office. So maybe some people may not have that permission for every single office, and to do that is the same way that you would do permissions for anything. You'd go into the permissions here and you get them the payroll manager access there, okay? And you can do that per office as well. So you could have a number of people working in different companies within your own company or different offices as well. So that's there. So like I said, I'm going to just give you a brief overview today of how exactly the elements work. But ultimately what you're going to be doing is producing a report, and I'll just show you here a sample of one that will reflect what the information that your payroll requires you to upload. Now, I have created one here that includes overtime and standard pay, double time, sick pay, Saturday time. But these are completely customizable. So for some companies, if you're really just looking to report on standard pay and maybe you don't pay Saturday pay, you don't pay sick pay, you're just paying overtime, those are the parameters that you're going to set up for yourself, and I'll go into how to set those up. So it's really, really flexible. It can be completely tailored to what your company requirements are. If it is purely that you're just looking to report on overtime, or if you're just looking to perhaps that you just want to see sick pay or unpaid sick pay, things like that, maternity pay. So we can go through exactly the parameters that you're looking to set up. So in regards to the setup first, everything is controlled here in the settings section. So I'll go here to the settings section. And if we go here to the work patterns, so this is where we're going to start to kind of build our payroll settings. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go here into the payroll payments. And this is where you've just seen the spreadsheet I've showed you here. It's going to reflect. This is where you're going to basically create the spreadsheet. So when you're uploading something into whichever payroll report that you're using, whether it's Sage or BrightPay or Quantum, whatever payroll system you're using, there is a format that they're going to require you to upload the information in. So we'll work with you on that to figure out, okay, well, what kind of upload are they looking for? And the format that we'll be looking for is basically, so the employee ID number, that's fine, that's your payroll ID, but where exactly does, when you're uploading a spreadsheet into BrightPay, for example, and it's the overtime amount of hours, where do they fit on the spreadsheet? So that's what you'd create here. It's your pay elements, basically, that these are over here. So you'd go in here and you'd create your pay elements. And you see, for example, I put in here overtime and I put in file position 2. And if you look at it here, it's in the file position 2 here. So it says after full day and overtime. So it's in your file position 2. So we can create a completely customizable spreadsheet here for you that'll be able to be uploaded into, imported into whatever payroll system that you've required that you're using. So that was, I suppose, one of the key things that we looked at in regards to when we're developing this module, is that people use a lot of different payroll packages, and how do we make it as flexible as possible for people, even if you're using just a bureau or if you're using directly payroll yourself, that you can create a standard spreadsheet that is in the format and the correct way that you'd like it to be prepared in. So as you can see here, you can have as many pay elements as you like. Okay, so there's your pay elements here. So when you're creating your pay elements, you know, you can completely reflect in terms of your own payroll setup. So if people are on overtime, double time, if there's a Saturday pay, if it's the CIF requirements, whatever it is, you create here what your what file position it is and the payment ID. And the key thing is here is that you only ever have to do this once. So once you get your information from your payroll provider or your bureau that you're using, we'll work with you to set this up once, and then it's set up and it mirrors basically your payroll as well to make sure that it's correct. So once you have those set up, you need to go in then and decide, okay, well, when do these actually apply to people? Because the report that you're going to be taking out of HRLocker, it's not going to tell you how much somebody's going to get paid, but it's going to tell you how many hours have been worked in each one of these sections here. So I'll just show you here. If we go into, for example, this Kathy Connor's work pattern, I'm just going to add edit payment IDs here. So you can see here, I have that from, so if I'm looking at when Kathy Connors does her timesheet from 9 to 5, we'll say that the payment ID, those hours are going to go into the block that, let's say, is going to be called standard pay. Okay, and then I want to do a new payment ID, and I'm going to say after 5 o'clock. So we're going to say 17:01 to perhaps, let's say, 12 o'clock at night. Okay, that is overtime. Okay, so for example, if somebody's getting an extra shift allowance from that morning time or whatever it is, you can just build it out here exactly. So if somebody works if somebody's timesheet is submitted, where the hours go into which block they're going to go into. So then you can do that for each different day. So you can either apply it to all the days, so every single day that the person is working is going to be the same, or for example, if perhaps on a Saturday or a Sunday, saying a Saturday here, that they're going to get a Saturday pay. So maybe that's time and a half or whatever it is, or maybe that's overtime. So whatever it is applicable to your own company, you just set that up per work pattern. So, you know, I'm in Kathy Connor's work pattern here, but most of the time you'd have like a general operative work pattern, or your construction work pattern, or whatever it is, on site work patterns, and you can apply these to multiple people. You don't have to do it individually per person. You can do it individually per person, but you can do an overall work pattern that will apply to anybody who gets paid in this certain way. So once you have that set up, you can then start assigning people to the different work patterns or the different kind of pay elements that you have there. Okay, so I'll just show you that here. So if I go here into the directory, so the directory, which for those of you, again, if you're using HRLocker, I'm just going to make the screen a little bit smaller. Just 1 second. There we go. So for those of you who have been using HRLocker, the directory is your database of your employee folders, basically. So it's your HR database of employee information. So if we go to Adams here, and we're going to select basically his employee folder. And we're going to see what work pattern he's on. So we're going to, well, first of all, we're going to give him his employee payroll ID. So that's important. So your payroll IDs, again, if you look at your payroll system or your payroll bureau can give you this information, is every employee has to have a payroll ID number. So if you download that from your payroll, and you can put them all in here then for each individual here, and is there a default pay as well that they have there. So once you have that set here, you can see that this person's payroll ID is 001. I'm going to go into settings here as well and look at the working days. So I can decide what working days that they're on. And once I assign this person a specific work pattern, so when Adam comes in and does his timesheet, the report that's going to be produced is going to take the hours and go, okay, so between 9 and 5, any hours that are there are put into specific time slots. So if he works over 5 o'clock, it's overtime, or Saturday goes into Saturday pay, whatever it actually is. Okay, and then you can do this for the same in regards to your comps and bends and as well. So we've set that up. The next thing you need to be doing is your comps and bends. So we have salary here, for example. So I'm giving Adam his salary, and I need to decide, okay, first of all, what cost center he's going to go into here. So you can set up a number of different cost centers, and that's going to go into your payroll report as well. Okay, so you can put that in there. And then as well as the last bit here, I'll show you here. I want to give him a bonus. So I want to give the value of the bonus and effective from date as well. And the bonus earned, sorry, it's the edit of the bonus. So that's the payment ID. So perhaps there's a bonus payment ID that you want to put in here, and the value. Okay, and then the cost center that comes in as well. So that's the payroll payment. There is a good one here as well. So then the next one here, I'm going to put in, so can you base the payment elements? Sorry, I'm just reading a question here that I've got. Can you base the pay elements on hours worked rather than time slot? Example, if John works in excess of 7 hours, overtime applies. So that would be managed through your time off in lieu. So I'll show you that. I'll show you that in a second, actually. So basically, that's managed by your time off in lieu. So with your time off in lieu, if you can create that, anytime somebody works in excess of so many hours per week, it starts clocking up in terms of the overtime there. Okay. So, and we can, if you want to contact us, I can bring you through how to set that up. So sorry, I'll just go back here to the comps and bends. So you've put in here in regard to your salary, what cost center that's going to go in, your bonus in terms of the cost center as well as the payroll payment, when that's going to go in, the same as any of your benefits. So say, for example, if you're paying health insurance, or even if it's laptops or anything like that, you can put in what cost centers they're going in. So maybe that's the sales and marketing cost center, or where is that allocation coming out of, and the payroll payment ID here as well. So that gives you a nice piece of reporting in terms of, you can see how much each cost center is costing you as well, and what people, in terms of a marketing cost, or what your employees are costing you per cost center as well. Okay. So I'm just going to go through, just make sure I've gotten all the bits here. So the couple of things that we can look at in regards to the cost centers when you're looking here as well. So the two things that the report can do is, one, it can put everything into in regards to your actual pay elements. So whatever hours people are worked, they can go into their specific pay elements. And number two, you can see whatever hours people work, what cost centers they're going into, and then also any benefits or bonuses or salary, what cost centers they go in as well. And to set up cost centers, you're going to go into your settings, offices, and there'll be a new setting here, which is payroll. Okay, so you can create all these different pay elements here, and you can also create your cost centers here. So I have sales, marketing, operations, but you can create as many cost centers here as you like. The other nice thing that you can put in here in your payroll setting is the grace period. So when somebody's actually clocking in and out, or just filling in their timesheet in general, is, say somebody clocks in at 9:58, for example, in the morning, and they're not starting till 10 o'clock. Do you want to give them a grace period that you're not going to pay them for that first 2 minutes? Or if somebody's late and they clock in at 2 minutes past 10, are you going to subtract 2 minutes off their payroll? So you can give a grace period here of 10 minutes or whatever it is that's in regards to your own company setting. So you can decide what the actual grace period is there. And then this one here is when you want to timesheets to auto submit when people are on leave. So for example, if somebody is on sick leave or maternity leave, or somebody's just on holidays, that their timesheets are automatically submitting rather than having the employee having to do it. So they get paid basically. But there's a log of that as an automatic submittal. And for payroll purposes is when do you actually want the timesheet to be submitted? So when do they have to come in? So that's an important one here as well. And then the next bit here, so you have that set up and you're going to decide then in regards to your actual holidays, I suppose. I'm just going to go to a time off here. So say, for example, all these annual leave dates, all these public holidays here, do you pay people for public holidays, or what payment ID do you want when somebody works in a public holiday? So you can select here that it's a public holiday benefit. Okay, so for example, that could be different for a number of people. It could be different, for example, if somebody, if they work a public holiday, they may get time and a half, or if somebody with time in for a public holiday, they might just get paid for that day. So whatever it is in regards to how you manage that yourself. You can also create payment IDs for each one of these different types of time off requests that you have. So say, for example, if I go into maternity leave, and you can put in that payment ID here, which we would select here as maternity leave. Now the thing is here is that what the report will do is report on the amount of hours per each one of those payment IDs, and then your payroll system will decide if the person what the rate of pay is for that. So whether you're paying people full maternity benefit or not, that's handled in your payroll system. The HRLocker will just show that the person is on maternity benefit, is on maternity leave at the moment, and the hours worked. Sorry, and the timesheet's going in for that. I'll just go back to offices here again, and into our time off setting. The next setting that you want to have a look at is where you want your sick leave payment IDs to go into. So whether it's so sick pay, obviously, and again that the payment of that is managed through your payroll. So it regards to whether people get sick pay or not. What the report will just show that somebody had so many hours when they were out on sick leave, and the same as your annual leave payment here as well. So a bit of setup to begin with, but we'll work through with you for each of these. And once these are set up, that's it. It's just the one-time setup, and then after that, the report should be working for you. So the last section I'm just going to show you here is if we go back here to the timesheet. Okay, so this is the important part. Depending on whatever timesheet that you're using, whether you're requiring people to clock in and out or just to enter in their timesheets, basically when they save and submit their timesheet, and they'll still go through that management approval. Once the manager actually approves the timesheet, then the pay elements will come into the actual Excel spreadsheet here. Whatever hours that you've approved will come in here. So I'm just going to have a check and see if there's any more questions here, because I feel like I've gone on a bit. Yeah, so does it work with any payroll system? So more than likely it'll work with any payroll system, whether it's desktop based or whether it's cloud based, in regards to if they accept a CSV upload. So we're happy to work with you in regards to figuring out what that CSV upload is, so what the Excel document that is required, and what elements you want to bring into payroll. So if it's just the pay IDs, so if it's some people have really complicated pay systems, so any of the construction or the CIF ones where you're time and a half on a Saturday and then extra on a Sunday and then after Friday on 5 o'clock, so we can work with you on that to make sure that that's set up for the right people, to make sure that the hours coming out are right. Okay, so so work with us, and we're happy to create whatever document is required by your payroll. Okay, so the next question here is, what about the information of people? Can it be uploaded directly into payroll? Yes, so we do have, I'll just show you here. So in the report section, so you should have this already yourselves in the employee section over here. And in the downloads, we have a couple of different formats here that might be of use to people. So there's a new starter report for finance, or a new starter master sheet for payroll report. Seems like a bit of a mouthful. And we'll just download that. I'll open it up here for you. And what that does is it basically downloads all the information that you require. Or let me just open it up for you. Okay, see that there? There we go. Okay, so you'll see this master payroll. So this can be uploaded directly into your payroll or sent to your payroll bureau, whatever you're using. Okay, so first name, last name, date of birth, your gender, email, your employee IDs, what their job titles are, but most specifically, this would be relevant to your payroll, is their tax number, their bank account details, the sort code, and address. Okay, so there's all the information there. Now, this is one that we have created. If there is another format that you require this in, please let us know. We can create the report in whatever format that you require. I have another question here. Just have a look. Sorry. We have a bank of 0-hour support workers with no fixed hours who may be working with several different children. They have to log each individual piece of work they do and may do several in a day. How would they record, say, 3 pieces of work on the same day? So what I would do with that is I would use the projects for that. So in the time on section here, this is where your timesheets are. So you can create 3 different projects. So I'll just create the projects here. So if we add a project here, and we will call it the project 1, very imaginative, and just call it project 1. There is a charge per hour here. You can leave it 0 if you're not using that. What the charge per hour here is, perhaps you can use it for 2 different things. Is 1, how much you're actually paying the employee, or 2, how much it's actually costing you to send the employee there. So, or how much maybe you're charging back to a client or something like that. So it can be used in whatever way you like. It's quite flexible, but only use it if it's something that's appropriate. So we'll go with project 1. Very imaginative and call it project 3. Oh, sorry, project 2 are we at? Okay, and we'll go with project 3. Okay, so there's your 3 projects, for example, that they would be working on during the day, and we're going to select the 3. Project 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to assign it. So we'll assign the selected, and I'll just show you how it works. You can assign it directly to an overall office, or you can assign it to a department, or you can assign it to just an individual employee. We're going to assign it just to an individual employee. So we're going to assign it to myself, which I'm in as Liz. So there we are. I'm going to assign them there. If I go to the My Time On, I have a number of different projects. So let's see, can we find project 1, 2, and 3? So there's your project 1, 2, and 3. And let's say they can say they worked, they can work 3 hours here. And they worked 2 hours here, and they worked 4 hours here. Okay, so there's your project 1, 2, and 3, and they can do that for every single day that they've worked. Now they won't have all these different projects; they'll just have the 3 projects. And depending on what you prefer, you can get them just to clock in and out. So if they're going to 3 different places, you can get them to clock in and out for every single one. You can use their GPS location if you require, or if not, just use the clock in and out. And you can record the hours that they've spent in each different project. So I think that might be a solution, but if you want to come and talk to us, I'm happy to go through it with you. And then obviously anything with those projects you can download as well. So they would all be here in the report section. I'll just show you that now. So in your time on section here, and in your downloads, you can download everything here in the project section. Okay, and you can download whichever, so you can download it per project or whatever way you want to download it. But come and talk to us and we'll be able to set that up for you and help you go through that. But I think that would be a good solution for you. So what I'll do is we'll send a recording of the webinar out to everybody, and there'll be a meeting link there to book some time with any of the team here if you require us to help you to set up the payroll IDs for yourselves or the pay elements, or even just to talk to us about how it might work for your company and how we can set it up for you. And just remember that the things that I've shown you today are things that have to be set up once, and then the report will be working for you. But the report is customizable, so we can create whatever report it is that you like. And as always, it was lovely to see everybody and talk to everybody. So please let me know again. We'd love to talk to you, and if there's any questions about anything. So take care, everybody.